What are your most valuable resources? Well, I'd venture to say that at the top of that list is three things: your time, your energy, and your money. These three things determine if you're able to survive and thrive. So your brain really wants to protect these. It wants you to do things that is going to give you more time, more energy, and more money, or at least not waste money. We are hardwired for our brain to protect us, to make sure that we're not wasting energy and time. And this is how habits form and mindsets form. They form with that brain body connection to ensure that what we're doing is most time effective and most efficient for our energy. And we can use this to leverage our motivation for exercise. However, this brain body connection can also get in the way of our motivation to exercise. We all know exercising is good for us. There's no arguing about that. But when it competes with your energy and your time and your available money for the things that are important right now at this moment, it's likely to get lower and lower on the list of things to do today. In this 3-part podcast series, we'll look at each type of exercise and why we struggle with making it a habit, and how to do it in a way that you optimize your time, your energy, and your money right now, instantly. By blending body science and brain science, we make sure that your mindset and your habits with exercising, the way you think about it, the way you do it, align with this hardwiring to be very time effective and have more energy and be protective of our money. We're going to start with strength training because this is the type of exercise that has the fastest growing evidence of its value, especially with the recent information in the media about weight loss medications and muscle loss. The fact is, we've always had a risk of losing muscle. With extreme weight loss, whether it's through surgery or extreme dieting, we've always lost muscle. We've also lost muscle with just aging. Normally, quote unquote, normally. It's not normal to lose as much muscle as we do with aging. It tends to be sped up by not moving as much. We can also lose muscle mass with bed rest. We can lose muscle mass with certain medications like steroid medications. So there's lots of things working against our muscle mass beyond weight loss medications. But I'm thankful that this research about weight loss medications and muscle mass has brought it into the media as something that is really important to protect. So let's talk about strength training in a way that we can preserve muscle and metabolism and age well, but also in a way that aligns with this hardwiring to protect our time, our energy, and our money. Part of the problem is that this loss of muscle is invisible. So you step on the scale, you might lose weight, but you don't really know what you lost. We don't see it until you go have a bone scan and you're diagnosed with osteoporosis because your muscle weakness has now caused bone weakness. Or you can't get up off the floor like you used to, or you can't lift the laundry basket up the stairs. You get tired easily, or you can't open a jar, or you break a bone. Those are usually the wake-up calls that you're losing muscle and function, and it's important to do strength exercises. So we want to make sure that we're making strength exercises part of our routine by raising the instant gratification, thus the Be Well Now method. This method uses body science or movement science, motivation science, and mindfulness for a whole person approach to exercising, so that exercise becomes a resource to feel and function better now, because that's how our body and brain are hardwired to do what makes us feel and function better now in the ways that are most important to us now. And so let's dive into strength training. There are many ways that you could do strength training. Some people call it resistance training, weightlifting. Whatever you call it, it is the same thing. It's moving in a way that you are training your body to move better against gravity. You could do body weight exercises. You could do it through an app or a video. You could work with a trainer, go to a class. You could go to a gym and do the machines. There's tons of ways to do strength exercises. However, that's the problem. There's a lot of misinformation out there, misguided information about how to do it, why do it, what you need to be able to do it, the right way, the wrong way, and all of those rules and messages are making it overwhelming. All you have to do is walk into a gym. You see a floor full of strength equipment. You see people lifting heavy weights and grunting and feeling not looking like they're having a really good time. And that's enough to make a lot of people want to just stick with cardio and not even venture into the strength area. Or maybe you've done strength exercises in the past and you even enjoyed them, maybe as an athlete, or you went to a strength class or something like that, and you kind of enjoyed it, or at least you enjoyed the results. Or maybe you worked with a trainer in the past. You know the exercises, you know what to do, you've got an app, you've got all this stuff, but you're not doing it. Or maybe you've done strength training more recently and you got injured. You pulled your back out, or you twisted your knee, or you tweaked your shoulder and you ended up in pain. And now you're worried about going back and doing that again because you can't afford to be injured. And so there's a lot of barriers that I hear. These are all things that I hear from clients and patients about why they're not doing strength training. And it's hanging over their head like this big should, which is wasting energy in and of itself. This big should waste energy. So let's use the Be Well Now method to reset, rewire this mindset about exercise. Your mindset is not just what you're thinking about strength training. It's what your body is telling your brain, whether that's from past experience with exercise or vicarious experience, seeing people do strength exercises and not looking like they're feeling very good, or hearing about injury from strength. We want to change that brain-body connection and make it more of a whole person benefit. So how do we do that? Well, we start by just being. Turn your awareness into your body and let your body shift into a position where you just feel comfortable. You feel like your bones are holding you and your muscles don't have to work very hard. You can feel your breath moving in and out, and just feel how you are strong right now. What strength you have in your body right now to hold you up. Your bones are holding you. Your muscles are holding you. You have strength right now. You have enough right now to just be standing here. So take a moment to just feel how strong you are right now. Okay. Feel your breath moving in and out. And from that place of awareness of your strength right now, then think about doing strength training exercises, whatever that means to you. Notice what visually comes up when you think about doing strength. Even write it down. What comes to mind? What comes to your thoughts? What emotions come up? What feelings come in your body about doing strength? That might be purely like, oh, I don't want to do this, or oh, I can't wait to do strength exercises, or somewhere in between. Likely it's mixed messages. But take a moment to really imagine, kind of widen that gap between the thought and then what happens in the rest of your body, your brain, even your heart. What matters to you about doing strength? Notice all that stuff that happens as soon as you think about doing strength. By slowing that down, you are able to use the well state to start rather than the stress state. Okay. The stress state would be, all right, I should do strength. I guess I'll get started. I'll do it. That's a reaction. That's using fear and guilt as a motivator, and it will burn out. It will not last. We want to use the well state, what matters to you. So now imagine yourself feeling strong enough. Whether you feel strong enough now, notice all the things that you can do with your strength. Or if you don't, imagine yourself feeling strong and doing activities with that strength. Imagine yourself 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, feeling strong. What are you doing? What are you enjoying more because you have plenty of strength? Your body has stayed strong over the years. Just write that down. Create a vision of you strong, functional, and enjoying more of life with more ease because you have enough strength for what matters to you. Okay. Notice the difference between those two visions. You doing strength training right now and what comes up in your body and your brain and your heart, and you imagining yourself really strong in the future and what comes up for you. Notice that. We're going to close that gap. Okay. So if you're struggling with strength, let's close that gap. So that's the well step, making sure that you're going by what's well, what you want, not what you don't want. Okay. Not by fear and guilt, but by what you want. Okay. What matters to you, what you value. When we base motivation on value, on meaning, on purpose, on passion, on what you love, what you enjoy, those are the things that will keep you motivated. It's the reason we do anything at all, because it matters to us personally. Okay. So we're going to leverage that. And now, before we even start talking about what to do for strength, I want you to move. Just move in any way, because as we talk and as you come into listening to this podcast or watching it, you likely have some leftover ready to move tension from stress thoughts and stress events. Okay, so we'll take that tension. It's ready to move tension. It wants to move. Let your body move to turn that tension into movement. That's exactly what it needs to release that tension. So just let your body move in any way that feels good, a big stretch, or you might squeeze and release. Movement in some way to help your body clear that energy storage, that storage of wasted energy. Stress tension is wasted energy. Carrying it around all day just is like leaving your cell phone on all day. It's going to waste that battery. So releasing that releases your energy. Okay. It puts your body and your brain in the state where you can heal, grow, and learn. So now in that well state, we're ready to rewire this idea of strength exercises. I call it strength exercises rather than strength training or resistance training. We call it resistance training. We're automatically going to think about the resistance, what we're trying to move and push against and resist that. I call it whole life strength movements because these are movements that I want to do for my whole life, for the length of my whole life, for every part of my life to be strong. So whole life strength movements. And you're just practicing those. All right. And so now let's think about how strength training might be worth your time right now, your energy right now, and your financial investment right now. Okay. Let's look at time first. When you walk into a gym and you see all those strength machines, it can be really overwhelming. Why? Because they work muscle groups. We have a lot of muscles in our body, and working muscle groups takes a lot of time. And you need individual exercises for each muscle group. The challenge with that is it's kind of based on this bodybuilding approach to strength where bodybuilders have to work individual muscles to get up on stage and show off those muscles. You and I, likely, I'm assuming you're listening to this podcast, so you don't want to be a bodybuilder. Likely you just want to feel and function better and age better. We want movements. All those things that you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now, 20 years from now are movements. So we want strength in movements. If we start isolating muscle groups, one, it's going to take a lot of time, but two, it's going to lose its sense of meaning. All those movements that you want to do and you start doing muscle groups, your brain's not going to really make that connection. Okay. If you start putting those muscles together to create movements, you're going to save time because you're working those muscles together. They're going to learn how to work together. And every exercise that you do has meaning. Doing squats now mean you're picking up your grandchild with more ease or getting up off the floor with more ease. Doing step-ups means you're going to climb stairs with more ease and less strain on your knees. So making sure that you're doing movement-based exercises and all those movements have a direct connection to what matters to you, what you value, what you want to be able to do. When your logical brain makes that connection, it's going to tell your survival brain that this is a really good thing to do. And your survival brain is going to learn from your body that, hey, these movements matter. Let's keep doing them. So the two parts of your brain are going to work together again. Whereas if you're doing muscle group based, your logical brain knows that these are important, but your survival brain goes, I don't know if this is worth your energy and your time. Maybe that you don't have to do these. So I want to align those two parts. Okay. So when I do movements, it gives them meaning, a direct connection, which unleashes your natural energy to do something that comes from your intrinsic motivation. So automatically you get more motivation, more energy from doing these because they matter to you. Okay. And the third part to making them time effective is doing them mindfully. If you just throw weights around while you're watching TV, part of your brain is on what you're doing watching TV. You're missing that brain-body connection. Have you ever fallen asleep on your arm and you can't move it? Why? Because your nervous system has been cut off for a little bit and cut off the connection to those muscles. What makes your muscles strong is your nervous system connection between your brain, your nervous system into those muscle fibers. So what makes your muscles strong is that brain-body connection, not how much you lift, but how many muscle fibers you can coordinate to create a movement. Okay. When you're mindful, when you're doing strength exercises, your brain and your body are activating more muscle fibers with every movement. Talk about time effective. But here's the bonus. By practicing mindfulness as you're doing strength exercises, meaning you're just paying attention to how your body feels in the present moment, you're staying curious about what your body is telling you, and you're responding with kindness when your body says, no, thank you, that's too much or it's painful. That's mindfulness. Okay. That's mindful strength. Just paying attention, listening to your body, curious about what it's telling you, and responding with kindness when it says, no, thank you. When you approach strength exercises like that or strength movements like that, then you are also improving your skill of mindfulness, your ability to stay mindful when you're moving, especially moving strong in everyday life. That means that you're more likely to stay calm when you're having to do something that's hard. Okay. So talk about a time effective way to do strength exercises. Mindful, movement based, connecting it to meaning. How do we make sure that strength gives you instant energy? Well, I alluded to one of them when I talked about time, meaning. When something is meaningful, somehow we find the energy to do it, right? Someone you love is sick or in need of your help, and instantly you have this energy to go help when it matters to you. Okay. So we also want to make sure, of course, that we're eating well and sleeping well, because that's how our muscles can develop muscle mass. Specifically, protein ensures that your body has what it needs to build muscle. But I want to emphasize the protein thing. Eating protein without doing strength is like putting gas in your car but not turning it on. Strength exercises tell your body what to do with protein. Without strength exercises, the protein will not turn into muscle. Okay, we hear a lot about protein. Link it in your brain with protein and strength together, build muscle. The timing of the protein helps also. You can have protein, a little bit of protein, 8 grams to 20 grams right after doing strength exercises tends to help your body build more muscle and lose more fat. Okay, there's some research on that. But just getting enough protein, talking to a dietitian about how much is enough for you, and making sure you're getting enough sleep, because that's when your body builds muscle. Without sleep, our body can't build muscle as well. Okay. So in order for us to get energy from strength, we want to make sure we're getting enough sleep, make sure you're getting enough protein, but make sure you're doing strength in a way that's meaningful, so it connects to your innate motivation, and do a gradual progression. The principle of gradual progression in exercise science is often lost with strength exercises. One of the reasons is that I think is this misinformation about soreness. We think that soreness is good. There is no research that says soreness is good. In fact, soreness is inflammation. Inflammation doesn't feel good in your body, first of all. So that's going to drain your energy, just not feeling good. But also, inflammation is the precursor to every disease. Why would we want to inflame our body in order to get it stronger when there is no evidence that you need to be sore to get stronger? Okay. So we're going to push that aside. We're going to get rid of that idea of a good sore, that soreness means that it worked. Okay. And we're going to go by the way our body works, gradual progression. Start with a muscle memory level, which means no weight at all. Practice the movements. Make sure that your nervous system knows how to coordinate those muscles before then you ask it to move a weight. Okay. Practice those movements, get the muscle memory for incorporating your core into those movements of everyday life, making sure everything knows how to work together. Again, you're born with that ability. You're just rewiring it. Okay. So muscle memory first, then a slow gradual progression below the level of pain, including soreness, at a level that gives you energy. So when you walk away from strength every time from day one, having more energy because you did something meaningful, you activated your muscle mass and you reconnected with your body and your heart and your whole person, you just feel better. Okay. So that gradual progression allows you to get to a point where you can activate your metabolism. You can activate more muscle and then raise your metabolism. Your body is actively using more energy to create strength. Okay. So we want to activate the metabolism, do this gradually, and do it in a way that you're building confidence. If you're worried about injury, that's wasting energy. So if you're doing this in the back of your brain, you're thinking, oh no, I'm going to get injured. What if my back goes out? That's wasting energy. When you're doing strength exercises with confidence, because you know how to do them well, you know how to move your body well, and you have built up gradually without soreness, you have much more confidence that what you're doing will prevent injury. And that will give you more energy. Okay. You know you're doing it correctly. I'm going to link the video. I mention this almost in every podcast, the 3 principles for moving well. Restore those, and exercise will have less strain and more strength. Rewire your body and brain's ability to move well using those 3 movement principles that start every movement well. Okay. So save energy by making it meaningful, doing movements and building muscle memory for those movements, and doing a slow, gradual progression below the soreness level. And then gradually work up to a level where you're challenging those movements so you get to kick up your metabolism and restore some of that. Okay. Women, if you're in perimenopause and menopause and you feel your metabolism slowing down, this is a big reason why you can reclaim some of your metabolism by doing this well. And lastly, I'm going to say about energy, the way strength exercises gives you energy is when you're doing it to release that stress tension. It's a great way to get deep into that stress tension and release it when you're doing it with confidence. Okay. So if you're using strength exercises to release stress tension, you're going to walk away from that like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Literally, you feel better because you're not carrying around that stress tension all day. Third, how do we make this cost effective? Strength exercises seem like they take a lot of equipment. You could certainly spend a lot of money on strength equipment, but you don't have to. You can if you want to and you have the extra money, but you don't have to. You can do strength exercises at home with simple weights that you could probably get at a thrift store for very inexpensive. You could also just use water bottles or detergent bottles, which are literally free weights. You could use exercise bands, which will cost you about $25. I'll link my favorite band set in the show notes. Okay. And those will create a lot of resistance for you. But this particular set starts at a very light resistance, so you can do that slow, gradual progression. Okay. You could go to a gym and find gyms that don't cost a lot, but knowing what equipment is worth your time, make sure that you are getting the most out of that and you're not overwhelmed and resist going to the gym because it's overwhelming. It's stressful. Okay. Oftentimes functional exercises mean no weights, means just body weight exercises, which probably isn't going to do enough, especially for your upper body. We need some resistance. Okay. So that's important, but you could do weights, you could do bands and create those movements and resist those movements. So that's one way to save money, is know that you can do this at home with very minimal equipment that's going to last you a very long time. So you make that initial investment in some weights or bands or both. And that's really all you need to do good quality strength at home. But then you could also do that at the gym. You could do it on the road when you're traveling, when you have minimal equipment. And that will save you money in equipment. The other thing that will save you money is knowing how to exercise correctly. We have a lot of people to tell us what to do, but not a lot of ways to learn how to do it for yourself. Okay. So learn how to do these strength exercises, build the muscle memory, use mindfulness to listen to your own body, and follow the movement science principles and exercise science principles, and you'll have everything you need to do strength exercises without needing someone to tell you what to do. That's going to save you a ton of money. The second way is to be self-motivated. So what will save you a ton of money is if you are self-motivated. You could get yourself there consistently and enjoy it because you're intrinsically motivated. You're doing this because it connects with what you value in life and you know how to do it. You're confident that you know how to do it. You don't have to pay someone to make you do it. You don't have to sign up for an app or a program or do a group class to make you do it. When you're self-motivated, motivation is free, and it should be free. Build that self-efficacy for exercising by learning motivation science principles to build intrinsic motivation. So you're going to save a ton of money doing strength by knowing what equipment is worth your time, knowing how to exercise at home or at a gym, doing movement-based exercises that have meaning to you so that you're intrinsically motivated, doing a slow, gradual progression, and knowing how to listen to your body and progress gradually, knowing how to move well, so you don't have to pay someone to tell you what to do and make you do it. And you don't have to go to a gym if you don't want to. So the other cost-saving benefit is aging well. aging is not going to cost you as much money in medications, in assistive devices, in hiring someone to do things for you. One of the most cost-effective ways to age well is to keep your strength. Okay. So doing this whole life approach to strength, movement, mindfulness, motivation, science-based, then you're going to make sure that you can be strong enough for your whole life as best you can. So in summary, this mindful progression of meaningful movement-based exercises calms the resistance in your brain and body to doing strength exercises so you can enjoy doing them as a way to reduce stress, reduce worry about your body, clear stress tension, stop wasting energy stuck in the stress state, be self-motivated so you're not wasting time having someone to tell you what to do and make you do it, and be self-guided mindfully by movement science principles. This is what I call whole life strength. Feel more connected to your whole person so you can be well now. And you can do this for your whole life to feel more confident now and more confident in your future too. Go to exercisingwell.com to learn more. Message me if you have any questions. I want you to be doing strength exercises with intrinsic motivation and confidence that you can age well and you can feel and function better now to be well now.